All of us deal with crazy fatigue. And it's so hard to explain to other people sometimes. Frank, how did you adapt or, learn to manage the fatigue? And how did you tell other people about how you deal with it?
I'll use my example when I was in university. As you all know, it can be grueling at times. At times I'd have courses up to 10 o'clock in the evening. My joints were just screaming. My fatigue was just unbearing, but I would just soldier on. I felt guilty because friends were just, walking off and I was just slowing down. But it came to a point where, listen, this is it. I can't do anything about it. Just go with it. It was painful, but something in me just kept me going. And I can't really explain what it is, but I had to tap into myself and just keep going. Yeah.
How about you, Mallory? Do you experience tiredness, like crazy fatigue, like some of us do?
I do. Sometimes it interferes with my class time because I'll put my head down without realizing it and I can just doze off. It'll take 2 seconds and I'm just out of it. But the way I manage it, at least, I try to go to bed at an earlier time and wake up later, kind of. I need a lot of sleep to just not be tired throughout the day.
Do you have trouble explaining it to friends or teachers or anything?
A little bit, but I think most of my teachers at this point, they know. So they're not really shocked by it if I just get tired all of a sudden.
Well, that's great that they're understanding. Sandy, you experience the same fatigue, I presume?
Oh, I call it hitting a wall. I can be going and going and going, and then I can't go anymore. Things get fuzzy, my joints hurt, I become a little bit disoriented. And that's when I know that I cannot push myself any further and I have to stop and either go to bed or take a nap. But the thing that I have found is I try to walk 2 miles every day. And that walking 2 miles every day, first of all, it's great mentally because I walk with a friend almost every day, but it keeps me going. And I think that gives me more energy than anything else.
I think that's some super great advice. And I'm going to throw a little bit of my personal thoughts in here. I am not having as much fatigue as I did when I was in treatment. I have been super lucky to be off treatment and remission for quite some time. But I tell you what, it was so hard to explain to people how I just could not function. And I just had to lay down for so long. I did learn when I went through periods of remission before I was in this longer term remission that I did have to also, walking was my go-to. It used to be swimming, but swimming just became hard for me. I felt like I always had some sort of sinus infection or ear infection or something. So I moved into walking also. And I do that to this day with a best friend. I have a lot of other physical activities I like to do. I hike. Sometimes I can do it and sometimes I can't. So I just have I've learned to balance those things and everybody around me just understands now. Honestly, there are people who don't know in my life that don't know I have vasculitis. And just because I've been so lucky lately to be pretty healthy and I haven't had to explain much. So, and I did want to ask a little bit of everybody about how you balance things as far as if you work or school or any family responsibilities, anything like that, because that's where I am right now. I'm in a pretty good place. I'm working a lot. I have a family business. My family understands when I can't work and they just take over for me. So that's kind of how I balance. Frank, how do you balance whatever your responsibilities are now?
Well, basically, I have my mom. I live with my mom. I'm not married. I don't have kids. And my family understands, obviously, that there are days where I'm non-functional. At the same time, when I am functional, I chip in. My mom needs help, so I will do what I can for her. We have a good synergy. The way I see it, my mom is hard of hearing, so I'm her ears. And because of my deformities, she's my hands. So we have a good synergy there. In terms of activities, unfortunately, because of the myopathy and my deformities, I'm pretty much homebound. So I guess the internet reading is pretty much my activity. However, now that I've got a new power chair, I may be able to go outside more and breathe in some more fresh air. But yeah, every day it can be a challenge, but it depends how you take it, with respecting that if you are fatigued, you got to just ride the fatigue and until you're better. Yeah.
How about you, Sandy? Are you balancing some responsibilities?
Well, the most challenging responsibilities I have, and also the most fun, is I have two granddaughters, an extremely active 3-year-old and a little one who's almost 1 and learning to walk. So when I spend time with them, when they take naps, grandma takes naps. When they go to bed at night, grandma goes to bed at night, because that's the only way that I have the energy to keep up with them and have fun with them throughout the day.
Yep. Well, they need you. So good job trying to keep up with them. Mallory, I imagine you struggle sometimes with school. Any other responsibilities, stuff around the house?
For the most part, I go to work and I hang out with my friends after work, or, in the middle of the week, sometimes I'll hang out with them. I'm also in band for my high school. So, there's a concert tonight, actually. So I guess the way I deal with all this moving around is I do get my sleep. I try to sleep as much as possible. And I try to drink as much water as possible because that helps. So I guess you kind of just do what you can when you can.
Also, words of amazing wisdom from a 17-year-old. It's kind of great that you're balancing school and band and work and friends. And it's really good for other people to hear that message. So I'm really happy to hear you say those things.